Hey everybody, welcome back to the Friar Talk podcast. In our last episode, we talked about the starting pitching. In this episode, we're going to talk about the relief pitching. I would say probably up until after the All-Star break, this was definitely the bright spot of the Padres. The bullpen was, really picking it up after the starters. And, at the All-Star break, the reason they fell off so hard is because they were taxed. Jace Tingler taxed them to the max. And I think it goes without saying that Jace Tingler managed an 162-game season the way he managed a 60-game season. Didn't let his starters go long enough to be able to preserve the bullpen down the road. Rather than do that, he taxed the bullpen early on in the year, and he paid heavily for it later on in the year. So Chase, what did you think about this bullpen in 2021? What grades would you give them? Most valuable guy out of the bullpen, and who's the least valuable guy out of the bullpen?
Oh, most valuable and least valuable? Ooh, that's a little bit difficult one. We'll get back to that. Overall, I will give them a B, just because Tingler mismanaged the hell out of the bullpen. Those poor arms felt like they were probably going to fall off at the end of the year. I mean, like you said, he managed a 162-game season like he did a 60-game season. Like parts of the year, second half of the year, he's like, oh, bullpen games. And then we're just going to throw you for another 4 innings the entire week just because I'm going to pull my starter early because logic. And, it really hurt to see. And then you could hear him in his, post-game conferences or just when anytime he was interviewed by a reporter, I don't see the fatigue in this bullpen. Really? Because you just sent Tim Hill out there for like the 4th day in a row, and he just got rocked because, he's not used to throwing 60 innings in a year. I think we had 3 or 4 guys over 60 innings, approaching 70 more. I mean, guys were taxed, and that's not their fault. That's not their fault. Some guys did legitimately underperform. You could look at Emilio Pagano. You could look at, I wouldn't say Stammen very much. Melanson, he did really good, but you can tell there were some definite scary moments for him. I wouldn't call him an underperformer. If anything, he overperformed. Actually, you know what? Probably the least valuable definitely either has to be Pagan or Adams, because that guy would hit everyone at the plate.
Oh my god!
If you break the record for hit by pitches in a season, you're not doing something right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he was really good with his strikeouts, but it felt like he just threw it up there and be like, I hope this crosses the plate. If not, damn.
Yeah.
Then Pagan with his home run struggles, I'm going to let you get into that right now because I see you want to talk about Pagan.
I just don't understand how somebody could, for example, after that Dodger game where he let up, 2 or 3 home runs in a row? Not in a row, 3 home runs in a matter of 4 at-bats. I don't get how you come. I applaud you for doing a press conference after that. That was huge. That showed a lot of character to be able to do that, knowing that the fan base was absolutely against you that day. But what you can't do is go out and say my RPMs looked good, my pitches were good, my spots were good, because your spots were not good. If you're, I don't know what the clip or what the ratio is to the amount of home runs he gave up per outing. But I just know it's abysmal. It's got to be among the highest in baseball. And I will say earlier on in the year, like, he was pretty good. He wasn't fantastic. 2020 Emilio Pagano wasn't fantastic, but he was good. Like, he was okay. And earlier on in the year, I also expected him to potentially close just because he had that closer role in Tampa Bay. It ended up being Melanson. Pagan didn't really have a set role, and he was thriving. And then suddenly he becomes a setup man, and he's abysmal. I feel like more times than not, he would blow the lead in the 8th and help us out. So I think you could legitimately give him a D.
Go ahead. I know you're going to want to say, yeah,
I want to say an F.
I thought you were going to go with a D.
But he was good. He was good earlier on in the year. So I'm definitely going to give him a D+, I guess.
Would you consider him the least valuable, though?
No.
Who would that be then?
I had the freaking bullpen up right now. Hold on.
I know who the most valuable is. I know I had to think about this for a moment.
I think I got my most valuable
hands down, Chris Matt.
Nabil Chrismat for sure. But let's talk about Nabil Chrismat real quick. Let's just give him some praise. How about the guy that, I mean, whenever you needed reliever type innings, long innings, 2 or 3 innings a game, even 4 sometimes, he would go out there and he would step up. Joe Musgrove said it best. Nabil Chrismat doesn't get enough credit for what he does. He was fantastic all year. Somebody that Ryan, who we had on the show, I believe a couple of weeks ago, earlier on in the year at the trade deadline, you guys probably saw him a lot. He was really high on Nabil Chrismat in spring training. He's talking about how his changeup looked good and he looked like a good pitcher. And he comes in and he shows us that he is a good pitcher. It was very integral for him to be able to come in and provide those 2, 3, 4 innings whenever he came in, because we saw many times Blake Snell would come out in the first or the second. Yu Darvish would come out due to injury. Joe Musgrove every once in a blue moon. Also, Ryan Weathers, like all these guys would end up coming out with injury or bad outings, and who would be the one who comes in? Nabil Chrismat. And would he give you shutout innings? No, but what he would do is he would provide you quality innings, and that doesn't get acknowledged enough. So many props to Nabil Chrismat for what he did this year. Hopefully he has the same type of year in 2022, because I want him around for the long run. And even if you look at his tactics around the ballpark, just having fun and being out there, talking to the fans, throwing, playing catch with the fans, just everything about the guy is fantastic. So big fan of his.
Yeah, absolutely. Now looking back at the bullpen, I think I found the least valuable. Daniel Hudson.
I wanted to say Daniel Hudson so bad.
Yeah, looking back at it, we acquired him. I think he had like nearly a sub-2 ERA when we got him, and he finished off with what? Like a 4 ERA. I think he doubled it. Oh, no. He raised it up to 3.31, but he had a really low ERA when he came here, and he just did not do his job. He was not the bullpen piece that we needed at the deadline. You can say Craig Stammen was really good here. You can say Melanson had a really good year, despite, some scary moments. Pierce Johnson was pretty solid throughout the entire year. Reese Kinnear, he did his job. He should have been starting, but, he did his job as an opener really well. One guy I do want to shout out, because I don't feel like we don't shout out this guy, someone's going to call us out in the comments. Daniel Camareno, probably one of the coolest moments in Padres history, hitting a grand slam as a reliever. Probably the coolest moment in the year, other than Musgrove's no-hitter.
Easily, definitely.
Outside of that, man, there's not many other bright spots in the bullpen.
You know who I love? Mr. Tim Hill. Yeah. Tim Hill, I mean, the thing we always talk about Tim Hill, it's pretty funny. If he comes in with no runners on, no outs, he comes in fresh to the inning, he's not going to do very well. But if you put him in and there's like bases loaded, 1 out or no outs, he's either only going to allow 1 run or he's going to get out of it. I think he's really good in adversity. Obviously, he has his tough moments, whether he hits people, walks people. A little bit of luck, for example, in April when we were in extra innings against the Dodgers, full count, ball up in the zone to Luke Raley, I think it was. I forgot who it was. Way up in the zone. Was not going to be a strike, and he swings. So a little bit of luck, but I'll tell you guys, Tim Hill is possibly my favorite pitcher out of the bullpen. I think he battled cancer, beat it from Palomar. He went to Palomar. Just really a good story. Really a guy that I'd love to have on the team. Comes out to Tupac when he comes onto the field. So much fun to watch. Definitely. I think if I had to go with the second MVP, you can go with Melanson, you can go with Stammen for how many innings they threw, but I just love Tim Hill. So thought he had a great year. Honestly, there's not much to pick apart from this bullpen. Overall, they had a great year. It's just they got taxed, and that's not really their fault. We mentioned it. Jace Tingler played this like a 60-game season. That's what ultimately led to his firing. He didn't have a bullpen. He didn't have starters. So, but I can't say that's not luck. That's like, I can't say that's bad luck. I just think he did that to himself.
Yeah. So overall team grade before we head out, what is it? I said B. What did you get him?
B plus.
Yeah.
I wanted to give it A minus.
Like you said, it's not their fault they got taxed by the end of the season, man. They threw way too many innings. Yeah. And you know what? To keep it together as long as they did was really impressive.
Yeah. So let us know what you guys think in the comments. Just remember that at one point this team was on pace to have the most innings thrown by a bullpen in MLB history. So, when you give your grades, when you take it all into consideration, definitely take that into account because they were heavily taxed, but give us your grades, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And we look forward to talking to you guys soon.